Good afternoon. 5:31, Portland, Oregon. In case this is your first time coming upon these videos, I just really enjoy talking about my experiences with norteño music and my experiences with drumming and my experiences with just music in general, something that I loved growing up with, and just enjoy talking about it and my experiences and some of the stories I have when I would go out and gig with the band and things like that. And I also enjoy talking about what I'm currently doing at the moment, which is unloading containers. And I'm out on the road, originally from Los Angeles, California, born and raised 90065. And I'm out here traveling, unloading containers. And it's funny because today, leaving work, I'm on the freeway, and actually no, I wasn't on the freeway, I was on the streets, and I got a phone call, and it's my boss, and he pretty much asks and lets me know that there's a warehouse in the area that is in need of support of some extra help. And I was like, oh damn, that's pretty cool, and he was basically asking if I was interested in going out and helping. So that's sometimes the type of things and the type of situations that occur when you're out on the road like this. And I would imagine that it's with any other type of job, and other fields. There's always different ways and different opportunities to try to make some extra money, and I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't sound too bad. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this opportunity and just go be able to experience another warehouse and to see how they operate, and to see what similarities and what differences, and more than anything to see what type of merchandise they handle, how they run and operate their warehouses. And that's just something that I'm always into. I've gotten the opportunity to work in a variety of warehouses and that specialize in just different situations and different I want to say items, but also merchandise as well, like like I said, refrigerated, frozen, general general things, dry items, and it's just something that I feel like I should take the opportunity and go ahead and be able to clock in some extra hours, and more than anything, just try to be safe and have another type of system in mind, and just in case we ever need it somewhere else. One that I really like to see is the way automated technology is coming into the world. I remember I was in this warehouse, and it was a Wheatron. Wheatron was in that warehouse, and they deal with a lot of automated system. there was a lot of pros and a lot of cons, you know, the systems, what they use and whatnot, but it was something out of this world to see just the way that it operates. And you can actually go online and you can go onto YouTube and see Witron and how their machines operate. I mean, it's nothing top secret. They put it up on their YouTube channel and everything. But being able to see it in person, it is just something out of this world. Like, cause I mean, when I was young and I was growing up, and they mentioned the warehouse, it's true. Like, I always just did picture like an old dingy warehouse, lights kind of low, you know, a couple of machines and whatever. But there is a whole new field and a whole new level to how these warehouses are being created and being built, and the architect behind them. And you know, I've been able and had the opportunity to sit down to talk to some industrial engineers in different companies and be able to kind of get their points of views and see where the future is, and more than anything, see the way different types of warehouses handle um, what is needed for them. You know, when I was at that at that warehouse that Witron was inside of, you know, that company, that partner that they had all three: dry, perishable, and freezer. Now, I will tell you one thing, if I can, right off the bat, what I see right there is the best place to somewhat pick and know that the job is secure there is going to be imperishable. But I'm also not a perishable. I hate picking perishable. Like, it's cool, I'll pick it, whatever, but I'll be honest with you, like, send me to the freezer instead. Like, you know, and I'm only saying that because they weren't picking, no automated system was picking any perishables. So that's something I saw right away, because there was automated systems in the freezer and they were doing freezer orders. And it was a very small freezer. It was a 1 aisle freezer. And, you know, it had things like chicken drumsticks, ribs, bacon, cakes that they put out in produce and in the dairy, I mean, in deli, in grocery stores. But it had a lot of, you know, obviously it's a freezer, so it's a lot of frozen items. But it had a lot of things like that. Sausages and, you know, whatnot. But on the upstairs, where the automated system was going, it was picking all the ice cream, basically. And that's something that I saw right away, like, damn, like, there's no need for a person picking. And they would do a good amount of cases. I have some numbers right there that I remember that we were picking throughout the day. Maybe I can go ahead and talk about that later, but it's also interesting to see exactly how many cases those those automated systems are doing, because they were doing the same exact thing in the dry. So the dry did have a good amount of aisles, but it was picking a lot of automated systems, so a lot of items throughout the automated system. And I would say around half or maybe more. And there's just some things that you can't have automated stack. And what I'm saying too is, like, I would say to get better at picking, and one day all these warehouses do decide to go automotive, or it should be dog food. We were still picking there, flour and stuff like that. We were picking a lot of large and awkward items, mops, very heavy, very heavy boxes. I'm trying to remember as much as I can. I don't remember doing a lot of canned items. What else? There was some inner cases, so you would have to pick them inner cases, but then again, they had the mods upstairs where basically you were in front of a TV, like a computer, I'm sorry, like in front of a monitor, and, well, it was a computer because you had the keyboard and everything, but it was telling you exactly where to pick one by one, like in a mod system. But I just remember a lot of dog food, a lot of flour, a lot of like hazardous items like lighter fluid and stuff like that. And I would say, like, more than anything, soap. I remember there was like some soap that they still had picking, but when it came to the freezer, same thing. Like, there was just some things that I wasn't able to pick. And I would say, because sometimes the boxes come messed up, like dog food, it's always going to be, you always got to adjust the dog food and stuff like that. Same thing when it comes to, like, a lot of the ribs over there in the freezer. Like, they're very hard to put on a pallet and just really adjust them and make them stay straight, because the Wheatron was very good on that. Like, if it was wrapping up a pallet, it would wrap it completely from the bottom all the way to the top very nicely. Nothing sticking out, no wrap, no nothing. It had to be perfect. Like, it would not go into the rack if it was not perfect. I will give it that. So you best believe that if there's a pallet going up on the rack, more than likely it is perfect. Now, there is some, I would say, that that do get, I would say, more than anything, moved on the way up, because you do got to remember things start sliding. But as far as like any anything sticking out the pallet, or any wood hanging, or anything like that, or any plastic hanging, nah, that's not gonna happen. They have somebody at all those locations in Wheatron and making sure all that stuff goes in good. But that was just something, something that I also wanted to talk about. Just being able to see what other kind of systems I've done. Like I said, this channel is just about coming in. More than anything right now, just trying to post up as much as possible. Like I said, I'm going to be taking some more hours, and I don't know, maybe I won't be able to post up many videos, so I might as well post this one before I start. And just remember that I'm going to be talking about just music, growing up, and kind of seeing what I went through getting out of high school, I guess you could say. Just kind of something where people could come and bullshit, leave a couple of comments and say like, oh yeah, I've kind of gone through something like that, and just kind of go through some experiences that I went through. Kind of say some stories of me being barras or gacho or something, being all fucked up and doing some dumb shit, because I mean, that's kind of what it is as well. When I was hopped up on crystal meth and drinking, and just kind of at one point doing anything that I could get my hands on, in the sense of like drugs and whatnot, but we'll get more into that when we get into that. But like I said, I'm not pushing for anybody to do it or condoning it. It's just I want to kind of give my experiences because that is something that happened in my life, and then kind of going into what música norteña is to me. I want to be able to talk about being able to gig around East LA, being able to gig around Pasadena, Cypress Park, Highland Park, Silmar, Van Nuys, just all around right there, and kind of see if anybody, is kind of in the same page that I was or kind of had any of the similar experiences, and just kind of, just get this out there, more than anything. Talk about being on the road and being able to make some money unloading containers and picking orders or receiving or really wherever they need me. I've done a lot of different functions, used a lot of different machinery, been to a lot of different states, and worked at a lot of different warehouses. And if I'm being honest, it's not a lack of me being fired from them or leaving on bad terms. I can honestly say that I did a pretty good job. I did a very good job. I can honestly say that there's that in my opinion there shouldn't be a partner that should be complaining about the way I worked. I feel like I did a fairly good job, and my work backed it up. And I'm very grateful for all those people that kept me around and the different companies that relied on me and really helped me throughout all these times. I'm very grateful being able to travel around the United States and being able to, get different experiences when it comes to warehousing, because, after getting sober and having a good time gigging and just going around LA County gigging for years and years, maybe 5 to 6 years, it was awesome, and it's still awesome, and I still enjoy playing the guitar. I don't play the drums anymore, which is basically what I was playing when I was gigging, but it's something that I hope to get back into. I want to post up some videos, but like I said, right now I gotta go work in this warehousing, and it's cool. I'm grateful for that. I love it, to be honest. I'm happy. I'm actually happy that I get the chance to go and experience a new warehouse and put another warehouse in my mind and in my experiences and in my and in my thoughts. First and foremost, just try to be safe, try to get used to and adjust and adapt to the way they work and see how they do it. Kind of go in. Obviously, you want to see who would be the best example to teach, and they should have somebody to train there. So, it should be a good experience, just like anywhere else. And I'm really doing this so just in case anything happens here, like in case the work slows down here, there's always somebody watching. When it comes to this type of business, they remember a lot of people that worked very well, and they ask for them back. I've been at places where they keep you an extra couple of weeks because of how good of a worker you are, and they see really coming in there and working and doing what you got to do, and it's always good. I'm very I'm very much motivated to just keep posting the videos, you know. I think YouTube is something pretty cool. I think it's I saw the vision back in the days when it was first coming out, but I didn't see the big picture, and now I'm kind of happy I see the big picture. You know, like I like that you can just come in and be a channel, and if people want to watch, they want to watch. If people don't want to watch, they don't want to watch. Right? And this is basically something cool right here. Like, you know, if my phone ever dies, I have these videos to come back to, and I hope somebody learns a couple of things from my experiences on being a musician in Los Angeles and being a warehouse worker and being able to know your way around the warehouse and know your way around, you know, just give you the little knowledge that I know, you know. And I'm very excited just to tell some of my stories and just keep it going. Like I've been posting the last couple of days, but I think I'm trying to see how I'm gonna do it as far as with all these hours that I'm gonna work. Like when I get a chance to record, maybe for at least like 30 minutes or something. But you know, if anybody has a story they want to share about a warehouse, a funny story or something, just go ahead and leave it in the comments or something, or a funny story about you being at a party and there was some musicians there, or you know, because that's basically what I was doing, you know. I was in a band, so I started that when I was probably like started like practicing and playing the snare when I was like 19, and I started gigging when I was around like 21 or 22, and then I kept gigging until like 27 or something like that, or 28, and you know, throughout that time I just started getting deep into drugs and alcohol, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of fun and it was cool, but you know, it was just fucking crazy. Like, I ain't even gonna fucking lie. Like, that shit was just fucking crazy. But I'm very grateful for all the people that we played for and that showed us so much love and always treated us very kind. Never had a bad experience. And just very grateful for that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that was honestly one of the coolest things I can honestly remember. You know, just being able to go out to all these different cities in Los Angeles County, you know, right there in California. And it was fucking dope. It was mad fucking cool. Going out, everybody's just giving you beer, they're giving you drugs, they're fucking. But see, the thing is, I'm happy I was surrounded. Around good people that, you know, really said like, look, we're here to play. We're here to fucking play. We're not here to be part of the party. We're not here to this or that. No. Like, that's not why we're here. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand that. Like, it is true. Like, you know, and until they told me that, I didn't really, like, understand. You know, because, I mean, one would think, right? Like, yo, I'm a musician, like, I'm a rock star. But there's a business behind it, you know? And there's a way to present yourself, and there's a way to carry yourself, you know? And I've come to realize that, like, maybe in the beginning I didn't, because I remember I would show up to some gigs, and thankfully, I don't remember. I remember maybe one time that I got there very wrong, and I'm very ashamed of it, but at that time I feel like we were just playing so much, like everything just fell into place. But I know there's been times where, you know, I did fuck up, and I'm very ashamed of that, and it is stupid of me. But what I come to love about some people is, like, you know, as far as the people that I was around, I'm never gonna lie, like, nobody ever said shit, and maybe I did pretty good job playing, but damn, everybody was supportive, because I remember at every gig, everybody would just be like, "Thank you so much, you played so well, everything was so good," like, and you know, I appreciated that shit. That shit was mad fucking cool, like, you know, like, you're playing at someone's you know, you're playing at somebody's wedding, you're playing at somebody's borrachera, you're playing at somebody's birthday, you're playing at somebody's Valentine's Day, you're playing at somebody's something, you know, like, they chose you, like, you know, and, you know, if I hope that somebody that has heard me play live, and has heard me, you know, do my thing when I'm up there drumming, if you ever hear this, I just want to say thank you, you know, even though we're not seeing each other, but that shit was cool, man. You know, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm very grateful for those memories like that. That's something that I can always say, and can always be very happy about. You know, I did the best I can when I would go out there and gig, and it was cool. You know, I really did the best I can. And I know there was sometimes I might have fucked up, and that's not right. You know, that's not right at all. And, you know, but thank you for nobody ever just throwing it in my face, and just being like that about it. I hope, you know, I hope somebody that has heard me play does come across this. And same thing goes, as far as when it comes to the warehousing, you know. To be honest, I've been surrounded by good people, and, you know, yeah, there have been some people that maybe crossed the line, and there have been some people that maybe, you know, I could have handled things differently. But at the end of the day, you know, I can honestly say that it's all good. You know, if anything was ever to be said, or I had a problem with anybody, or anything like that, everything was taken care of, and we talked it out like men, you know. And, you know, I'm very happy to say that, because I've dealt with a lot of people that, you know, that have a lot of different attitudes. And hey, I get it, homie. You know, I ain't tripping. But just remember, guys, sometimes you just gotta know how to talk to people and get an idea of how you're gonna speak to them, and the way you come across as well has a lot to do with it. You know, so you know, like the way I always tell the homies, like, hey, like I'm here for a reason, right? Like I'm here working for a reason. Like I'm not gonna be right here fucking all pissed off and shit. You know, like man, there's some fool or some homegirl right now that really ain't working. They really need of a job. But see, that's what I've come to find out. Like, there's a lot of people that are just there to be there. You know? And I mean, that's cool, don't get me wrong. Because some people got money, bro. And I'm not going to say that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Because for me, yeah, you need it. It's a necessity for sure when it comes down to money. But at the same time, like, at the same time, some people, some people don't need it as much as I do, to be honest. You know? That's really all it comes down to. Some people at the end of the day just don't need it as much as I do. And I mean, what am I supposed to say, right? I'm not gonna be over here bitching and complaining about it. Like, fuck. I put myself in this situation, now I gotta deal with it. You know? But I try as much as I can, at least, not to show my emotion in front of people. And to be honest, man, I'm the person in this world that should be the least of a fucking hater. Cause I'll be honest, God has helped me out with a lot of things, and I have no reason to be upset. He's helped me get out of a lot of dumb shit. And hopefully with time, I'm not gonna lie, hopefully with time, you guys can keep coming back and listen to those stories, because I'm gonna be telling a lot of stories. And like I said, even if nobody's listening right now, it's all good. I'm just gonna keep it going. I'm honestly just happy that this is a place where you can document something like this. Like, I won't even lie. Like, it's cool. Like, I just want to talk about, what I've gone through, my experiences, and that's really it. And I'm very excited I can do that. And if anybody happens to stumble upon these videos, just honestly just leave a cool story or something. I'm down to hear something, or leave a comment or something. That way I can hear it. But at the same time, just I want to just keep talking about just different things. Like, and to be honest, I know I'm stuttering a lot, but I mean, I'm just trying to get better on talking off the top of my head. Like, I get very, I don't want to say like impatient, but like, I just really like to I don't know, I get antsy, I guess. Like, I'd rather learn how to keep talking off the top of my head. Like, I remember like I did a couple of presentations in high school. I did a lot of presentations in high school, but I remember three that stick out like the most. And I remember one. I remember just the way that I would talk. Like I remember, I would just grab as much, but they were actually subjects that I really enjoyed. You know, they were subjects that I really enjoyed and talking about. So I remember, I would just go very much into detail about everything and about what the presentation is about and the ins and outs and whatnot. And I just remember, I honestly just remember all three of those teachers just pretty much going up and telling me like yo, like you have a really good way of talking, like speaking. Like I was like, what? And one of them even told me like, yo, you ever thought of doing like AP, that type of AP? And I was just like, no, like what the hell? And I won't lie, that's pretty cool. Like I'm not even gonna lie, that shit was pretty dope for somebody to say something like that to me. Like I kind of wish like I would have kind of like taken something, I guess. But you know how it is. Um, I just want to keep learning how to talk like that. You know, keep talking about all of this and that and just all the things that I've gone through. Because to be honest, it's just a lot. Like, and it's not a lot of bad stuff. I'm not even gonna get a. I'm not even gonna say something like that either. But it's just kind of more of like I want to be able to talk about all these experiences and going out and learning new things and learning the way the music business works and going out to clubs and learning to promote. And a lot of it takes learning how to talk to people, because at the end of the day they're the ones that are going to bring you back and hire you. Same thing goes when it goes to third party logistics or being around warehousing. These people are the ones that are going to be hiring you. you know these people are the ones that are you're going to present yourself as. And that's my main goal one day in this world, to start my own third party logistics company 2.0. Like I'm just gonna be better than everybody else, or at least I hope. you know but we have to start with the small details at the smallest places. We have to we basically have to get the correct people, correct trainers, correct people that know the correct process. And it all starts from the bottom. you know it all starts with the partners. I'm worried about what the partners goals are and what they need and what we can accommodate them with. And this is going to be something like a big app that you can go into and you can find something that fits you. And I'm hoping to partner up with companies and have them do some type of traveling adjustment or traveling program with me as the person handling it. you know I want to do the biggest third party logistics company, and I just have so much ideas and so many experiences that we can just learn. Like I said today, right now they need people in another warehouse in Portland, Oregon. How can we find them fast now? You know, like honestly, if I can call people right now, I swear to God, like I can call people right now and let them know, hey, I'm in Portland. What's up? You know, like I know you were working at this warehouse recently, then you left. You want to work you want to work with me, you know, and you know it's all about connections. It's all about who you know and things like that, you know. And I know a lot of people. I know, you know, I have a lot of contacts with managers and things like that, and I'm very grateful to know. And I've sat down with these managers and made plans and learned how to, you know, make proposals and just anything along that line. So, you know, once again, I'm very excited to get this going. Very excited about what just kind of what the future holds, and even if not, like, you know, this is a thought and an idea that I'm planning to do, and I'm even planning to like have people submit stories and tell us about good times that they had getting drunk back in the days with grupos and parties, and stories in warehouses, crazy ass stories. Cause shit, I used to be partying it up with the fucking lumpers when I was receiving. You know, we used to fucking get a fucking 24 pack of Modelo, take that shit into the container, put a pallet, make one pallet, wrap that shit up. Everybody's chilling behind the pallet on a fucking Saturday. I love working Saturdays. That's my shit. Getting fucked up from 4 in the morning, having a good ass time, and staying awake. You know, I'm grateful that it's been 6 years that I don't drink, but I never forget stories like that. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, you know. But I want to hear people's stories too. I want to hear, like, you know, some crazy ass shit that happened, you know, while you guys were out partying with the grupo and at a club or something, and you know things were going on, or just shit that's going on in this type of lifestyle, you know, in the rancher lifestyle, in the norteño lifestyle, in the música norteña, corridos. That's what I mean, like, you know. You know, for the Mexican culture, the Venezuelan culture, the fucking Salvadorian culture, all of it, like, you know, the Latino culture, you know, being able to go out and hearing your party stories and shit like that. You know, I love it. You know, música norteña is something that's into me. You know, it's in my soul. And when it comes to warehousing, I love it. Like, I have a lot of fucking crazy ass stories too when it comes to, you know, chilling with homies and homegirls after work and having a good time and fucking drinking, and you know, I want to hear everybody's stories too. If everybody's done to tell them, you know, I'm excited, and I'm just gonna keep posting up. You know, we'll see what the next topic could be, but everybody be safe, alright?